Hi, did you know that skeletal remains of at least 10 people turned up in Ben Franklin's British home? I had no idea. Was he a serial killer? Was he doing research? I'm pretty sure that wasn't legal. And this was confirmed around the 90s when they did an inspection around the house and then they were finding all these bone fragments and bones. Man, can you imagine just going to the house, like, oh, just, doing inspections in Brent Franklin's house, and like, holy shit, what the fuck? And then you see like a freaking skull, a freaking rib bone, a freaking leg bone, and you're like, oh man, this motherfucker did some crazy ass shit. He was probably a serial killer. So, welcome to an episode of Nevermind the Broadcast, and I'm your host, Izzy Smut. So, in this episode, I interviewed Jimmy. He does the Locked in the Basement comps. It's so awesome. Like, he does all these, he releases all these tapes by these bands, so we'll have them record, and it's basically like a one-take session, and then he has about 10 of them that are out now, and I hope he keeps going. So, it's really cool that he has a series going on, and, people should buy it, because it's awesome. It's a great way to see what a band can do in one take. It's usually a lot of bands, they'll do like 50 takes, 20 takes in just in one song. No, you should do one take, and see if you actually got it. And it's really awesome. I'm excited to have that when I got him on the show and we started talking. He actually released Beer Soaked and Pissed with Dan Broad's compilation a while back, which I've seen in a couple stores, which is awesome when I see him there. And he was in Clerical Error. He's in a band called Carousel, which I'm going to play one of their songs, and then I'm going to play the interview afterwards. So I'm going to play Volume 1, Locked in the Basement, ACAB by Carousel. And when I listen to it, it's like every time I want to blast this every time I drive by a cop, because fuck them. Fuck them all. But yeah, so I'm going to play this song, and then the interview is going to come up next. Definitely check it out. And definitely check out Locked in the Basement. All the stuff is on Bandcamp. They have, just go on their Instagram. All the stuff is on their bio. So check it out. Go on their YouTube. Buy it. And if you buy all of them, he'll give you something. So yeah, check it out. So this is ACAB by Carousel, and it's featured on Volume 1, Locked in the Basement.
All right. So my name is Jimmy. I play bass in a band called Carousel and Worldbreaker from Eastern PA. But I'm working on a project called Locked in the Basement, where I record bands live in my basement and put them out on tape.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the page and I saw the tape they came out with, and so you basically have them do one take, 15 minutes, and boom, that's the tape right there.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it is. I do 2 bands on each tape. It kind of started out as I don't know, like a COVID thing, like a lot of things that are going on these days. We weren't playing shows, so the 2 bands I'm in, we did the first, volume. My drummer Jake, he does all the artwork. So I asked him, I was like, just put Volume 1 on this first one and see what happens. And we're putting the 10th volume out this week.
Wow, that's amazing. And would it be something that, so how would bands get on it? Or would you ask the bands themselves if they want to just come in and do and record that one take?
Yeah, so I most of the bands I asked to be on, on the series. After I'm doing like the 10th one, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it. Just because it's been like a labor of love sort of thing. I've been like fronting all the money for all the tapes and stuff, and I don't sell them. I just give them to the bands to put out. But if a band wants to pay for the tapes, I would be down to do it. I think it's like $50 for like if a band wanted to do it, it would be $50 per band to do it. If anyone's interested, but
that's not bad at all. I mean, honestly, because a lot of people, especially it's physical media, and a lot of people are now gravitating towards tapes. So I find that's awesome that you're doing that. So you're doing it yourself. And so, I mean, $50, that's nothing compared to what other bands have to pay just to be in the studio or releasing records.
Right. Oh, definitely. And the cool thing now is, so now that we're wrapping up the 10th volume, I'm gonna take a track from each band, and I'm gonna put out a comp, and I'm working with a record label right now, to get it pressed, actually like on an LP. So,
Yeah,
I'm gonna wait till it gets sent out before I start like, promoting it and things like that, but it's like super exciting.
I'm excited for you. Are you gonna do like a release show or something of the type for that?
Yeah, I would love to, but it was hard enough just for me to get the 20 bands to come into my basement. It would be really difficult to do all 20 at like a show.
Yeah, it would have to be like a couple of day festival. It'd be sick.
Yeah, yeah, and some of the bands, aren't bands anymore too, which kind of sucks. So there's also that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you said you were in a few bands. So tell me more about your bands that you're in.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so I'm in Carousel. We're just a four-piece kind of like old school hardcore punk band. My wife's the lead singer, which is pretty cool. Um,
Got it.
and yeah, little Partridge Family sort of thing. Um, and my other band is World Breaker, and we're more of like we're kind of more of like a hardcore band. And we just recorded, I think, I want to say 6 songs, and we're figuring out what we're gonna do with those, and then we're gonna try and play a bunch of shows to get the new music out.
Cool. And are you guys playing out of state or just keeping it right now local until because of holidays and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, for World Breaker, I think we're gonna wait until we have something to actually give out with new recordings. And then we're gonna try and probably play as many shows as we can. We have a new guitarist. Well, he's been in the band for probably like maybe like a year or two. But we haven't really played too much with him since we've been like writing new music and stuff like that. But Carousel will play anywhere whenever we're asked. I think we have a show in Reading in January.
Oh, that's cool. And I remember
Mhm.
you mentioned Clerical Error too, and we played shows together, and it was I forgot the place that was doing the shows. It was somewhere in PA, but I'm trying to figure out the name of the place. Damn it.
Was it the building?
Yes. It's called a building.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they still do shows there?
I don't think so. I mean, sometimes. Yeah, Ivan owns that place. He was the drummer for Clerical Error, and he doesn't book shows there anymore. But I know he has like some friends that'll book like metal shows and things like that every once in a while.
Nice. It's kind of cool. Like when you remind me of Clerical Error, and because we played the building during our tour, so it was just like one of those memorable moments that we had there, and it was like a really good time. And I'm glad that there's a bunch of things happening in Pennsylvania. Like there's so many bands there. It's like there's already like an amazing scene happening there. Do you agree with that, or do you feel like there's a better scene somewhere else?
No, I mean, I think I would agree with it. There's like little pockets in all the kind of cities across the state. There's some things like brewing up in Reading, which is pretty cool. I mean, Philly's like a huge spot. You can go like down to Philly for a weekend, and you'll have to pick what show to go to because there's just always so much stuff going on, which I think is pretty neat.
I agree. I mean, I like over here. It's just like a couple spots, but it's not as big as like Philly, where you can just boom pick a spot. So I mean, I always find Pennsylvania to be like a soft place in my heart, because I'm like, there's always the best shows. One of the best places to play has been there. On the East Coast, especially, it's in Pennsylvania. Usually, the crowd is just awesome.
Oh, that's cool. All right, sweet.
Yeah, I mean, so are you guys? So with both bands, I mean, do you find it hard to juggle both? Because a lot of times, a lot of people have, time. You mean like having to separate practice and gathering people together? Like, do you find that difficult, or you manage to make it work?
No, we make it work. We're both bands are pretty like regimented with like, set practice, once a week. So it's not too bad. The My drummer for Carousel and for Roll Breaker, he's the same guy, so the rhythm
Oh,
section in both
nice.
bands is the same. Yeah, which kind of makes it easy as well.
I know drummers are like usually in two or three bands.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Our guitarist in Carousel, he's actually he's a damn good drummer too, and he's in two other bands, and he plays drums in both of those. He's in Ailment, which is a pretty big like crust band outside of Philly, and a really cool band called Raid outside of Bethlehem, PA. They're a four-piece. They're kind of like loud, noisy hardcore, but a little post punky too. They're great.
Awesome. I gotta check those out. 'Cause, like, I don't really know those bands, but I definitely would check
Hmm.
them out. I mean, it sounds like something I would be into. um, so, I mean, with all the bands that you're in and recorded, what have you?
Hmm.
Did you find it easy recording a band on one take, like, or is it just, or do bands tend to overthink and make it crazy?
So I would say about 50% of the bands were like they came in, they were ready, we recorded, they did the set, and they were like, "That's good," and then they would, kind of just leave from there. Like we would listen to it and stuff like that. But about half of them really took it to heart. Like we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it in one take, and that's what it is because that's the point of this series is to just play a live set and record it, and it is what it is, which I really loved that, the
I
bands that did that.
I love that. Damn it! I wish that because I had an '80s punk hardcore band that we would play in 15 minutes and we record one take and then boom, that's it. We don't try to do it again. We're like that's it. That's that.
Mhm.
So I like
Oh
that you
yeah.
were keeping it alive. That you're keeping the one take thing alive because a lot of people tend to like make it sound perfect and it just sounds kind of not. It just kind of takes away from everything.
Mhm. No, and that was like kind of like the point of it too was like it's supposed to sound raw. It's supposed to be, just like in your face, not over polished. I have to mix all of it live too. 'Cause I'm not a recording engineer. I don't know much about recording other than like where to point the microphones. I mix it on a mixing board and then it just goes on one track in GarageBand, so I can't even like do anything in post. So if someone's like, "Oh, can you turn the bass down?" It's like, "No, we need to do it
No.
again." So it's very yeah, it's definitely very uh I don't know, just not high tech, I guess.
But that's awesome. I love that because then you're like, then it will actually challenge the bands to just be better and just do it. And I
Mhm.
mean, if you made a mistake or something, I mean, just go roll with it. Just keep going.
Oh yeah, yeah. And for the most part, like, you know, all the bands that I mean, they all kick ass on all their recordings, so it's they're all really good. So it made it easier, kind of to record them and stuff. And I try not to do like too much with microphones or anything either. Like I just put like one mic on the guitar. The bass is usually like just a line in, and then I have four mics on the drums, and then that's it. And then just the PA system through the mixing board, so it's all very straightforward.
I love that. I kind of wish more studios would do that. But I love that
Well,
idea, and
it's
you know, I think it's
I was
awesome.
just gonna yeah, I was just gonna say like it's not a studio. It's a dingy basement for sure.
I love basement, just like basement shows. Like, I mean, basement shows are where it's at too. Just
Mhm.
keep it in the basement.
Well, that's like another reason why I wanted to do this too. Is like you know I don't have a place to like run shows, and but I still want to be able to like give to to the scene or whatever. So I was like, I can do this. This is something I can do and like support bands. You know, I can't get them a show, but I can give them, 20 tapes or 50 tapes, and they can just sell them, make a couple bucks, and all they did was just play a set in the basement. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
I think that's amazing. That's one of the coolest things that's one of the coolest things I've heard like anyone say. So like that you're, giving back and, you're just doing this because you love it. It's a labor of love. And, and those are going to be collectibles, those tapes, damn it. They're going to be collectibles.
Well, I will say, we're talking about, if the comp, does come through, which it's looking like it's going to happen, I'm going to give anybody who has all 10 tapes a free record. If they can prove to me that they have all 10 of them, I'll give them one.
Awesome. I'm sure you're going to find a couple now that people are going to buy the whole thing and be like, I want a record.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. That's fine. I would love to see it.
Absolutely. And where can they find anything that you do? So any your bands, your projects, where can people find that?
Sure. Carousel is on Instagram. I think it's Carousel Punks. There's 2 R's in Carousel. I think World Breaker is also on Instagram. Both bands have band camps, which there should be links, on the Instagram accounts. The Locked in the Basement account is Locked in the Basement Tapes, and I have all of the volumes on YouTube as well. So if anyone wants to just like listen to any of the bands or check them out, you can just hop on YouTube and you can just listen to them.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, and this was a fun interview. And I enjoyed it, and I enjoy what you're doing a lot. I think you're awesome for doing that.
Cool. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.